Now, if you remember, a couple of months ago on our show, we reviewed a couple of very special motorcycles, the Indian Scout and the Indian Chief Vintage. Well, now our friends at Polaris and Indian Motorcycles have sent us yet another of their masterpieces for test. This, the Indian Chieftain. But before we get any further, let's take a closer look at the bike, and I mean a really, really good look. This is also the company's attempt to blur the lines between beautiful design, old world charm, modern day technology, and just outright lavish luxury. All the design features that make the Chief such a gorgeous machine to behold are pretty much still there on the Chieftain. The massive fenders, the white wall tires, the pristine leather seat, even that gigantic V-twin motor that looks like it's been hewn from a single block of metal, and that iconic war bonnet front fender ornament. It's all retained. But the most standout features have to be that massive front fairing that almost looks like it belongs in the Batcave, and the sleek hard panniers on either side of the rear wheel. Now, one of my most favorite details in terms of aesthetics on the Chieftain is this Indian logo on the tank. It looks like it was hand painted in the earlier part of the 20th century by someone who was working on bikes, who was building bikes literally with hand tools and nothing more. It's a lovely design touch, this. Coming to the more technical parts, of course, since the Chieftain is actually the Chief underneath, most of the mechanicals stay the same. Powering this behemoth is Indian's 1800cc Thunderstroke 111 V-twin motor, which makes 139 Nm of torque. The primary changes that the Chieftain accommodates over the regular Chief is a change in steering geometry and suspension. Now forgive us for getting a little bit technical here. The front rake has been steepened from 29 degrees on the Chief to 25 degrees on the Chieftain. This sharpening of the rake has led to a decrease of almost 61 mm in the Chieftain's wheelbase. With regards to the bike's suspension, while the front remains unchanged, the rear shock is now pneumatically adjustable, making for an even plusher ride than ever before. But it's time to get the show on the road. Let's swing a leg over the bike and find out what's what. In order to test this bike, we are going to forego our traditional testing locations in Westy Hill roads. We are going to take this bike to its home ground, the open road. In terms of performance, obviously there isn't any sort of neck-snapping acceleration when you pin the throttle to the stops. But what you do get is a feeling that you're riding an endless wave of torque that's pushing you forward smoothly, but with absolute conviction. Cruising down the highway all day long, maintaining a speed of 120 to 140 km/h seems to be the Chieftain's natural state of being. But don't be fooled by its willingness to hold true to its course. If need be, a small, firm input on the handlebars can produce some quick changes of direction whenever required. That being said, at 385 kilos, it's not a light motorcycle by any means. But once you're rolling, you hardly feel the weight of the motorcycle. In fact, it feels like something half this weight. It turns very, very easily. You can maneuver around traffic with just a slight bit of effort. Overall, it's just a great bike to ride. But that's not the whole story. The Chieftain also features twin 300mm disc brakes at the front and a single 300mm disc brake at the back. And since the bike is also equipped with ABS at both ends, pulling it to a dead stop is done without too much drama. Well, the beauty about the Chieftain is that it's not just a good-looking, good-to-ride motorcycle. It's also packed to the hilt with features. Like this, for example. This is the bike's key fob. It's like a keyless start for the bike. So as long as this is near the bike, you press the power button right here and everything lights up. Also on the tank right here, you've got this button, this rocker switch that locks or unlocks the panniers at the back. And there you have it. And as you move to the handlebars, you see on the right side of the handlebars, you've got cruise control. And while this feature might work very well on American highways, I don't think I have the courage to test this out on Indian roads just yet. Well, apart from that, this bike has a console in the center of the dashboard. It's got a digital panel. It shows a lot of information like your mileage and your range, distance, everything. And it's also your control panel for various systems of the bike. Like for example, this bike comes with an audio system. It's got a 100-watt audio system built into the bike. The speakers are in the fairing right here, and you can either play FM radio or you can plug in your phone either with Bluetooth or with a USB aux cable and play music from your phone directly. You can increase the volume. And as opposed to the vintage, which had a massive windshield at the front, this windshield is actually controllable with buttons. So with these buttons, so as I said before, it's a bike that looks retro, but it's packed with absolutely modern technology, an absolute hoot in every way. Well, here we are at end of day's play with the Indian Chieftain, and boy have I had a blast with it on the highway out there. It's a wonderful motorcycle, it rides really well, it handles well for its bulk, it's oozing with charm practically. At 32 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, this is definitely a very expensive motorcycle. Is it worth it? Well, honestly, if you ask me, at that price bracket, it stops becoming a head decision, it becomes more of a heart decision, and that's something I think this bike has a lot of. Heart.